The officer's voice cut through the air, loud and deliberate. He wanted every ear in the parking lot to catch every word. "Where'd you steal this car from? Don't play dumb with me. Step out. Pop the trunk. I know you people are always hiding something." Renee Caldwell kept her hands visible on the steering wheel. Her voice stayed quiet and respectful. "Officer, I haven't done anything wrong. Can you please tell me?" "I'll tell you what's wrong. You're in the wrong neighborhood driving the wrong car. Now get out before I drag you out and call CPS on that kid crying in the back." One afternoon at the BP gas station in Richmond, Virginia, Renee was buying snacks for her daughter's soccer practice. The officer saw a black woman in a clean minivan and decided she needed to be taught a lesson. He had no idea who was watching from the middle row. By the time this stop ended, his badge was gone. Earlier that day, Renee Caldwell was doing what she did every weekend, juggling spreadsheets, soccer schedules, and a 9-year-old who couldn't find her shin guards. She was an accountant at a mid-size firm downtown. Numbers made sense to her. They didn't lie. They didn't change the rules halfway through. Today she was supposed to get Jada to the park for soccer practice. Simple, predictable, safe. Her phone buzzed. A text from Byron, her husband. The car wouldn't start. "Can I catch a ride to the gym? I'll figure out a tow later." Renee sighed. Byron worked nights. She worked days. They communicated through shared calendars and stolen moments at the breakfast table. This was marriage after 15 years. Not romantic, just functional. She texted back, "Fine, but you're sitting in the middle." The girls had already claimed the back. Byron Caldwell didn't look like a police chief right then. When he climbed into the minivan a short time later, he wore gym shorts and a faded college t-shirt, hair still damp from a shower after another sleepless night shift. He had been chief for 5 months, still learning which fires to fight first, still figuring out who he could trust in a department that hadn't asked for reform. He squeezed into the middle row. The back seats were already occupied. Jada and her 2 teammates, Devin Thompson and Brooke Ellis, were arguing about who played defense better. "Dad, tell Devin that girls can totally play defender," Jada said. Byron grinned. "Devin, girls can totally play defender." Devin rolled his eyes. "That's not fair. You have to agree with her. That's called marriage, kid." The girls laughed. Devin groaned. Renee smiled despite herself. For a moment, everything felt normal. A dad heading to the gym, a mom driving a carpool, kids arguing about soccer. This was the life they had built. Ordinary, unremarkable, precious. Byron's phone buzzed. He checked it. His face changed. The smile faded. Renee knew that look. "Work?" she asked. "Always something," he said quietly. She didn't push. She had learned early in his career not to ask for details. He told her what he could when he could. She respected the line between Byron the husband and Byron the chief, but she caught the subject line before he closed the email. Brooks. Complaint number 12. She had heard that name before. Officer Randall Brooks. 15 years on the force. Byron had been watching him for months, quietly and carefully building something. She didn't know what. She didn't ask. "We need to stop for snacks," Jada announced from the back. "Coach said bring healthy options." They had time. Byron suggested the BP station on Midlothian. "Yeah, quick in and out." The minivan hummed down the road, windows cracked, spring air filtering in. Devin explained a drill. Brooke checked her phone. Jada retied her cleats for the 3rd time. Byron closed his email and tried to relax. Renee focused on the road. She had installed a dash cam 6 months earlier after her friend got pulled over and couldn't prove the officer was lying about her speed. The friend fought the ticket for 4 months and lost anyway. Renee learned the lesson. Keep receipts. Document everything. The camera sat on her windshield now, a silent witness always recording. She pulled into the BP station on Midlothian Turnpike. It was a busy intersection. Historic neighborhood on one side, newer development on the other. The kind of place where old money and new ambition met and didn't always shake hands. She parked near the convenience store entrance. The kids unbuckled, ready to pile out. That was when she saw it. The police cruiser already there, idling near the air pump. Officer Randall Brooks stood beside it, arms crossed, watching her park. Byron saw him too. His jaw tightened. He didn't say anything, not yet. Renee turned off the engine. The dash cam kept recording. It always did for 90 seconds after the ignition stopped. Brooks approached before she could open her door. His boots crunched on the asphalt. Deliberate steps. Slow. He wasn't in a hurry. He wanted her to see him coming. He tapped on her window hard 3 times. Renee rolled it down. Her hands stayed visible, both on the steering wheel. She had done this before. Not here. Not with this officer. But she knew the script. Stay calm. Stay compliant. Don't give them a reason. Afternoon, ma'am. Brooks leaned down. Close. Too close. His breath smelled like coffee and something sour. License and registration, please. Renee reached for her purse slowly. Officer, can I ask why I'm being stopped? You can ask. Doesn't mean I gotta answer yet. He watched her hand move toward the glove compartment. Slow. Real slow. She handed him both documents. Her license, her registration, insurance card tucked behind it. Everything was current. Everything was legal. Brooks studied the license longer than necessary. His eyes flicked from the photo to her face, back to the photo. He was making a show of it. This is your vehicle, Miss Caldwell. Yes, sir. Registered to you? Yes, sir. Where are you headed? Soccer practice, the park, my daughter and her teammates. Brooks glanced into the back seat. 3 kids stared back at him. Jida's eyes were wide and scared. Devin sat frozen. Brooks' hand gripped her phone. Soccer practice, Brooks repeated. Flat, like he didn't believe her. In this neighborhood. The park is 10 minutes from here. Uh-huh. He walked around the minivan in a slow circle, checking the taillights, the tires, looking for something. Anything. He tapped the rear bumper with his knuckle. Registration sticker is about to expire. It's valid through June, sir. I said it's about to expire. That's a warning. He came back to her window. Step out of the vehicle, please. Renee's stomach tightened. Officer, I don't understand. Have I violated a traffic law? I'll determine that. Step out. In the middle row, Byron didn't move. He watched through the gap between the front seats, phone in his hand, recording. The angle captured Brooks's face and everything else. Renee opened her door slowly. She stepped out onto the hot pavement. The sun beat down. Sweat formed at her hairline. She wore jeans and a plain blue shirt. Nothing flashy, nothing threatening. Just a mom in a parking lot. Hands where I can see them, Brooks said. She raised them slightly, palms open. Across the parking lot, Tanya Wilson waited for her daughter's practice to start. She saw Renee, saw the officer, saw Renee's hands raised. Tanya pulled out her phone and started recording. She didn't know why yet, just instinct. Something felt wrong. Derek Thompson sat 2 cars over, waiting for his son, Devin. He saw it too. His phone came out. He angled it toward Brooks and Renee, saying nothing, just recording. Brooks walked around Renee, close, inspecting. Are you nervous, Miss Caldwell? No, sir. You're sweating. It's 90 degrees outside. Uh-huh. Where were you before this? Home. Then I picked up my husband. Then we came here. Your husband? Brooks looked at the minivan. He saw a man in the middle row. Gym clothes, no uniform, civilian. He's there. Yes, sir. Tell him to step out, too. Byron didn't move. Not yet. He was still recording, waiting for Brooks to violate procedure clearly enough, that it couldn't be explained away. Renee's voice stayed steady. "Officer, can you please tell me what this is about?" "Pop your trunk, I'd like to know why. I smell marijuana." "Pop the trunk or I'll pop it myself." "There's no marijuana." The minivan smelled like soccer gear and old French fries. Brooks was manufacturing probable cause. Renee knew it. Tanya and Derek knew it. Byron knew it. Jada started crying in the back seat, soft at first, then louder. "Mommy!" Brooks's radio crackled. He pulled it to his mouth. "Dispatch, this is Unit 12. I need backup at the BP on Midlothian. Uncooperative subject. Possible narcotics." Renee's hands began to tremble. Not from fear, but from the rage she had to swallow. From the humiliation in front of her daughter. From knowing that 11 women before her had filed complaints about this exact officer, and nothing had happened. She thought about those 11 women. She made herself remember this moment, every word. The officer demanding a trunk search with no probable cause. Her daughter crying. Witnesses recording. Brooks stepped closer. His hand moved toward her arm. Renee took a breath. "Officer, I do not consent to a search. I'd like to know what probable cause you have." "You don't get to ask questions. I ask. You answer." Brooks grabbed her wrist, not hard enough to bruise, but hard enough to control. "Turn around. Hands behind your back." "Officer, please, my daughter is watching." "Should have thought about that before you drove around with drugs in your car." "There are no drugs in my car." Brooks yanked her arm and spun her toward the minivan. Her shoulder hit the doorframe, not violent, just rough enough to make it clear who held the power. Jada screamed. Not words, just pure terror. Devin tried to hold her back. She reached for the door handle, desperate to get to her mother. Byron's hand rested on his own door handle now. He counted seconds, waiting for the exact moment when intervention was justified. Not yet. Brooks hadn't crossed the final line. Tanya Wilson moved closer, phone raised. "Officer, I'm recording this." Brooks didn't look at her. "Ma'am, step back or I'll cite you for interference." "I'm a citizen observing a public interaction." "I said step back." Derek Thompson called out from his car. "He hasn't told her what she's being charged with." Brooks ignored him. He walked to the back of Renee's minivan, tested the trunk, locked, then returned. "Give me your keys." "I do not consent to a search." "You got something to hide?" "I have a constitutional right." "Don't quote the Constitution at me, lady. You think you're smart because you got a fancy car and a job? You think that makes you special?" His voice rose loud enough for everyone to hear. "In this neighborhood, driving around like you own the place." Another car pulled into the parking lot. Amanda Ellis. She was dropping her daughter Brooke off for practice, but she saw Renee against the minivan and the officer's posture. Amanda was a lawyer. Family law, not criminal defense. But she knew it was wrong when she saw it. She got out, approached. "Officer, I'm an attorney. Can you explain what violation occurred here?" Brooks finally turned. "And you are?" "Amanda Ellis, I'm asking what grounds you have for this stop." "This doesn't concern you, ma'am." "It concerns me when I witness a potential Fourth Amendment violation in a public place. Last warning. Back up now." Amanda didn't back up. She stood 10 feet away, phone out, recording. "For the record, I'm witnessing this interaction. The subject has stated she does not consent to a search." Brooks's radio crackled. "Unit 12, this is dispatch. Backup is en route. ETA is 3 minutes." Renee's breathing came faster now. Not panic, but control. Backup arrived sooner than expected. A second cruiser pulled in, lights flashing. Officer Kyle Bennett stepped out. He was younger than Brooks, 29, 6 years on the force. He looked uncomfortable. Brooks waved him over. "Need you to secure the vehicle while I search it." Bennett approached Renee's minivan. He saw the kids in the back. Jada crying, Devin silent, Brooks startled. His face changed. Something like guilt flickered there. "Brooks? What's the stop for?" he asked quietly. "Probable cause. The smell of marijuana." Bennett didn't smell marijuana. Neither did anyone else. But he didn't contradict his senior officer. That wasn't how it worked. That wasn't how you survived in a department where loyalty mattered more than truth. Brooks returned to Renee. "Last chance, keys. Or I call a tow truck and we do this at the impound." "You have no legal right." "I have every right. You're operating a vehicle in a suspicious manner in a high-crime area." "This isn't a high-crime area." Amanda called out. "I've lived here 12 years. Brooks spun toward her. "You want to get arrested too? Keep talking." The parking lot had become a theater. 5 adults watching, 3 kids trapped inside a minivan, 2 officers, and 1 woman standing alone with her hands raised, because lowering them might be interpreted as resistance. Byron watched Brooks's hand move toward his belt, toward the handcuffs. He was done waiting. Renee saw her daughter's face through the window. Jada had stopped crying. She had gone silent. That was worse. The moment something breaks inside a child, when trust in authority dies, when the world stops feeling safe. Renee thought about the 11 women who filed complaints. She wondered if their children had watched too, if their daughters had learned the same painful lesson Jada was learning right now. That compliance doesn't guarantee safety, that respectability doesn't earn respect, that doing everything right still leaves you vulnerable to someone who decides you don't belong. The officer prepared to handcuff the subject. No charges stated, no Miranda rights, no explanation. Brooks pulled the cuffs from his belt. Metal glinted in the sunlight. He reached for Renee's wrist again. The back door of the minivan opened. A man in gym clothes stepped out. Brooks didn't notice at first. He focused on Renee, on the cuffs in his hand, on asserting control. Bennett noticed. His eyes widened. His posture changed. He took a step back. "Brooks," he said, quiet and urgent. "Brooks." Brooks didn't hear him. He reached for Renee's arm. The man in gym clothes walked forward, 3 deliberate steps. His sneakers made no sound on the asphalt, but something about his movement made Tanya Wilson lower her phone slightly and made Derek Thompson hold his breath. Bennett tried again, louder. "Brooks, stop." Brooks turned, annoyed. "What?" He saw the man. Civilian clothes, no uniform, no threat. Just some guy who should mind his own business. "Sir, get back in the vehicle," Brooks said. The man didn't respond. He lifted the hem of his t-shirt just slightly, just enough. A badge caught the sunlight, gold and unmistakable. Brooks's eyes locked on it. The shape, the seal. Richmond Police Department, but a different design, higher rank. His gaze moved from the badge to the man's face. Recognition spread like cold water through his veins. Byron Caldwell, the new chief, 5 months in office. The reformer who had been asking questions about complaint procedures. The one who requested internal files on problematic officers. The one Brooks hoped would stay in his office and leave street cops alone. Brooks's face drained from sun-flushed red to pale gray. The transformation took 3 seconds. His hand, still reaching for Renee, dropped to his side. "Chief Caldwell." His voice cracked. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Chief, I didn't..." Byron spoke. His voice was quiet, calm, lethal. "Officer Brooks, step away from my wife." Silence. Complete. Total. Even Jada stopped crying. The world held its breath. Brooks stepped back, 1 step, then 2, his hands rising slightly, an unconscious gesture of surrender without words. Bennett's face went white. He knew what this meant. He knew he was witnessing his colleague's career end. He took another step back, distancing himself. Byron continued forward and stopped beside Renee. He didn't touch her, didn't comfort her. That was the husband's instinct. Right now, he chose the badge. He needed to be the chief. You requested backup for an uncooperative subject, Byron said. Each word was measured and precise. What probable cause justified this stop? Brooks opened his mouth. Nothing came out. His throat had gone dry. I asked you a question, officer. Sir, the vehicle matched a description. What description? There was a report of... What report? What case number? Brooks couldn't answer. There was no report. They both knew it. Byron's voice dropped lower. You pulled over my wife in front of my daughter. You grabbed her wrist. You demanded a search without consent. You called for backup on a soccer mom buying snacks. He paused, letting it sink in. And you did all of this while I sat in that vehicle watching, recording every word, every movement, every violation of procedure. Brooks's hands shook now, visible tremors. Tanya Wilson zoomed in with her phone camera, capturing the moment a bully realized he had been caught. Byron looked at Bennett. Officer Bennett, you're dismissed. Return to your vehicle. Bennett didn't argue. He turned, walked away, got in his cruiser, and sat there with his hands on the wheel. Not driving, not leaving, just waiting to see how bad it would get. Byron turned back to Brooks. My office. Bring your union representative. Bring a lawyer. You'll need both. Brooks found his voice. Chief, I was just doing my job. Your job? Byron's tone stayed quiet and calm. Somehow that made it worse. We'll discuss what your job is and what it was. He turned to Renee. His face softened just slightly. Get the kids to practice. I'll handle this. Renee didn't show relief, didn't cry, didn't collapse. She nodded once, got back in the minivan. Her hands were steady on the wheel now. Jada's voice came from the back, small and confused. Daddy, why was he mean to Mommy? Byron didn't answer. He was still watching Brooks. Later at Richmond Police Department headquarters, Officer Randall Brooks arrived early. He sat in his truck in the parking lot, engine off, hands on the wheel, staring at the building he had walked into for 15 years. Today it looked different, hostile, like it had already decided he didn't belong. His union representative, Captain Victor Lang, met him at the entrance. Lang was 52 with 28 years on the force. He had seen officers survive worse than this. At least that's what he told Brooks. Keep your answers short. Don't volunteer information. We've got you. Brooks nodded, but his uniform shirt was already damp with sweat. They walked through the building. Other officers saw him. Some nodded. Most looked away. Word traveled fast in a department this size. Everyone knew about the gas station. Everyone knew the chief's wife. Everyone knew Brooks was finished. The waiting area outside Byron's office had 4 chairs. Brooks sat in one. Lang sat beside him. They waited. No one offered coffee. No one made small talk. The secretary typed and never looked up. The door opened. Chief Caldwell will see you now. Byron's office was larger than Brooks expected. Clean desk, American flag in the corner, framed commendations on the wall, and one other person. A woman Brooks didn't recognize. She was in her late 30s. Black, sharp suit, no smile. Byron gestured to 2 chairs across from his desk. Officer Brooks, Captain Lang. Captain, this is Detective Lena Wright, Internal Affairs. Brooks felt his stomach drop. Internal Affairs. This wasn't a conversation. This was an investigation. Wright sat beside Byron. She had a file in front of her. Thick, very thick. She opened it slowly and deliberately, letting Brooks see the tabs, the pages, the documentation. Byron spoke first. Officer Brooks, you're here regarding the incident at the BP gas station on Midlothian Turnpike. Do you recall that interaction? Yes, sir. Before we discuss the gas station, Detective Wright needs to provide some context. Wright turned pages, found one, and slid it across the desk. Officer Brooks, Are you familiar with the internal affairs complaint process? Yes, ma'am. Are you aware of how many complaints have been filed against you during your tenure? Brooks hesitated. A few. Standard for street patrol. 11, Wright said, flat and factual. 11 separate complaints spanning 6 years. She pulled out more pages and slid them across one at a time like dealing cards. Each one represented a separate life, a separate incident. Complaint number 1, Marisa Williams, 36-year-old high school teacher. You stopped her for a broken taillight. Except her taillight wasn't broken, she complained. Investigation found insufficient evidence. Case closed. Brooks said nothing. Complaint number 3, LaToya Johnson, dental hygienist. You detained her for 45 minutes. Called in a K-9 unit because you claimed to smell marijuana. The dog found nothing. She missed her son's birthday dinner. She complained. Investigation found you followed proper procedure. Case closed. Wright's voice never changed. No emotion, just facts. Complaint number 7, Elena Vargas, paralegal. You searched her vehicle without consent. Found nothing. She complained. You stated she gave verbal consent. No recording. Your word against hers. Case closed. She kept going. 11 complaints. 11 women. 11 times the system said insufficient evidence. Brooks shifted in his chair. Lang put a hand on his arm. Stay quiet. Wright closed that section of the file and opened another. These complaints showed a pattern, so I ran your traffic stop data. Would you like to know what I found? She didn't wait for an answer. Over an 8-month period, you conducted 63 traffic stops. 63? Do you know what percentage of those stops involved Black or Latina women? Silence. 89%. 56 stops. 89%. And of those 56 stops, how many resulted in citations or arrests? More silence. 5 citations. 51 stops where you detained someone, questioned them, sometimes searched their vehicle, and then let them go. No ticket, no arrest, no explanation. Wright pulled out a map and slid it across. Here's where those stops occurred. See these 3 neighborhoods? Historically Black, working class, East End, South Side, and Midlothian Corridor. 94% of your stops happen in areas that comprise 8% of your assigned patrol zone. Brooks's jaw tightened. Lang leaned forward. Detective, correlation isn't causation. These are high traffic areas. They're not high crime areas, Wright interrupted. I pulled the data. Violent crime in these neighborhoods is actually below the city average. So why is Officer Brooks stopping nearly twice as many vehicles here compared to his wealthier, wider patrol zones? No answer. Byron spoke now. Let's talk about the gas station. Officer Brooks, I watched the interaction. I recorded it. So did 3 civilian witnesses. Would you like to see your own body cam footage? Brooks looked up. My body cam? Yes, the one you're required to activate during all civilian interactions. The one that uploads automatically to cloud storage. The one you can't delete. Wright opened a laptop, turned it toward Brooks, and pressed play. Audio filled the room. Brooks's voice rang out loud and aggressive. Where'd you steal this car from? Then Renee's response, calm and respectful. Then Brooks again. You people are always hiding something. You people. On camera. Undeniable. The video played for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. Every demand, every escalation, every violation of procedure. Brooks watched himself grab Renee's wrist, call for backup with no justification, reach for handcuffs. The video stopped. The room fell quiet. Byron closed the laptop. Officer Brooks, you violated 4 separate departmental policies. You conducted a stop without reasonable suspicion. You demanded a search without probable cause. You used physical contact without necessity. And you requested backup under false pretenses. Brooks finally spoke. Chief, I followed my training. Your training doesn't include racial profiling, Byron said quietly. You people, that's what you said. On camera. To my wife. In front of my daughter. Lang tried to intervene. Chief Caldwell, with respect, this is a single incident taken out of context. 11 complaints isn't a single incident. 63 stops isn't context. This is a pattern. Wright opened another section, the thickest one yet. Let's talk about metro towing. Brooks's face went gray again. In the past 3 years, you've called metro towing for 47 vehicle impounds. 47. Do you know who owns metro towing? Silence. Craig Thompson, your brother-in-law, married to your sister Paula. And do you know what metro towing charges for an impound? $380 base fee plus $95 per day storage. Wright pulled out bank statements with highlighted entries. These are your personal bank records, subpoenaed this morning. Deposits from CTR Consulting. That's Craig Thompson's side company. $8,500 in deposits over 3 years. Always within 2 weeks of you calling his tow truck. Total, $52,000. The number hung in the air. Brooks's hands started shaking, visible tremors. He gripped the armrests of his chair. Lang's face had changed too. He hadn't known about the money. The union protected bad cops, but it didn't protect criminal enterprise. Officer Brooks, Byron said, you're on administrative leave effective immediately. Turn in your badge, your service weapon, your department vehicle keys. You're not to enter any RPD facility without authorization. A formal investigation is underway. You'll be notified of further proceedings. Brooks didn't move. Your badge, officer. Brooks reached to his belt. His fingers fumbled. The badge fell and hit the desk. He tried to pick it up and dropped it again. Wright picked it up for him and set it in front of Byron. Brooks stood. His legs weren't steady. Lang stood with him. They walked to the door. Byron's voice stopped them. Officer Brooks, 12 complaints now. 12 women who knew something was wrong. 11 of them were told the system didn't care. My wife was number 12. The difference is this time, someone was watching. Brooks left. The door closed behind him. He walked through the building past officers who wouldn't meet his eyes, past the duty desk where he used to joke with dispatchers, past the parking lot where he used to feel safe. His hands were still shaking when he reached his truck. Shortly after, the union called a press conference. The Richmond Police Benevolent Association held a press conference at City Hall steps. 6 reporters showed up. Captain Victor Lang stood at the podium, union president, 28 years on the force, dress uniform, medals gleaming. Officer Randall Brooks is a decorated veteran with 15 years of exemplary service, Lang began, voice steady and practiced. He has received multiple commendations. He has served this community with distinction, and now his career is being destroyed because of one incident involving the chief's family. The word family landed heavy. Intentional. We support reform, but we cannot support a process where personal relationships compromise professional objectivity. When an officer's career hinges on who he unknowingly interacted with, that's not justice. That's a dangerous precedent. Technically defensible, politically strategic. It reframed everything, made it about Byron's marriage, not Brooks's misconduct. By afternoon, 3 outlets ran the same angle. Chief's wife traffic stop raises ethics questions, police union questions, impartiality, personal or professional, chief under fire. Not one mentioned the 11 prior complaints. Not one talked about body cam footage. Not one asked about the $52,000. Renee saw the headlines during lunch, sitting in her car reading articles that made her the problem. Her supervisor had called her that morning. Gentle tone, concerned face. Renee, maybe take some personal time until this blows over. The firm doesn't want to appear to be taking sides. Political situation. That was what they were calling it. She said she'd think about it. She wouldn't. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Your husband set Brooks up. Race baiting won't save his job. Delete. Block. Another text. Different number. 11 complaints. Maybe those women should drive better. Delete. Block. You got your chief to railroad a good cop. Hope it was worth it. She stopped checking. That evening, Byron stood in the driveway. Someone had spray-painted his personal car. One word in red. Rat. He filed a report. He didn't expect anything. The responding officer was polite and professional, but Byron saw the resentment, the rank and file closing ranks. Renee found him there. We can repaint it. It's not about the paint. She knew. It was the message. You broke the code. Byron turned. I can drop this. Desk duty for Brooks. Quiet resolution. No hearing. No media. We could... No. Renee's voice was firm. 11 women before me stayed quiet or got nowhere. If we stop now, what do I tell Jada? That we only fight when it's convenient. His phone rang. Unknown number. He ignored it. It rang again. Different number. He turned it off. Upstairs, Jada hadn't slept through the night since the gas station. 3 nights straight she woke crying. Nightmares about the police, about her mother disappearing. Renee sat with her until she slept, then lay awake counting hours. The next morning, Renee's inbox held 47 messages, half supportive, half vicious. She stopped reading after 10, but one email was different. Subject: I was stopped too. Sender: Marisa Williams. Renee opened it. Ms. Caldwell, I saw your name in the news. I filed a complaint against Officer Brooks earlier. They said there was insufficient evidence. I had my 16-year-old daughter in the car. He searched it anyway, tore apart her backpack, found nothing. She cried the whole way home. I'm a teacher. I teach respect for authority. How do I do that when authority didn't respect me? If you're fighting this, I want to help. I kept records, photos, receipts. He thought I'd forget. I didn't. Renee read it 3 times, forwarded it to Detective Wright, and replied to Marisa, Thank you. You're not alone. Neither am I. By the end of the week, 22 more emails arrived. Different women. Same story. Brooks pulled them over, questioned them, searched, and released them with no explanation. Most had never filed complaints. They didn't think anyone would listen. Now someone might. Friday evening, Richmond Times reporter Nicole Harper published the suspended officer's history. 11 complaints, all dismissed. Someone had leaked the internal affairs files. Wright wouldn't confirm and didn't deny. The story included stop data, the map, the percentages, quotes from 3 complainants, names, Metro Towing, the traces, the money. Suddenly the narrative shifted, not about the chief's wife getting special treatment, but about a system protecting a problem officer for 6 years, while dozens of women suffered silently. Comments filled up. More women shared stories, not just about Brooks, but about other officers, other stops, other humiliations. A pattern emerged. Renee sat at her kitchen table that night with Byron beside her. Jada had finally fallen asleep upstairs. 23 women's emails lay open on her laptop, 23 voices saying the same thing. We thought we were alone. We thought no one would believe us. We thought complaining would make it worse. Byron looked at the screen. What do you want to do? Renee thought about Jada's nightmares, about the spray paint, about her supervisor's gentle suggestion to disappear. Then she thought about Marisa Williams, about a 16-year-old girl crying in a car, about 11 complaints dismissed, about 56 women stopped for no reason. I want to fight, she said. Byron nodded. Then we fight. But neither of them knew yet how dark it was about to get. A week after the BP station, Jada woke up screaming. Renee ran to her room and found her daughter sitting up in bed, eyes wide, breath coming in gasps. "The police are taking you away. They're putting handcuffs on you, and I can't stop them. And you're gone." Renee held her, rocked her. "It's okay. I'm here. I'm right here." But what if they come back? What could Renee say? That it wouldn't happen again? She couldn't promise that, not honestly. Not when the system that had protected Brooks for 6 years was still intact. "Daddy will keep us safe," Jada whispered. Renee felt something break inside her chest. Her daughter shouldn't have to rely on her father's rank for safety. That wasn't how it was supposed to work. She stayed until Jada fell back asleep, then went downstairs, sat at the kitchen table, and stared at nothing. Byron found her there. "You okay?" "No." He sat. They didn't talk. What was there to say? Their daughter was traumatized. Their community was divided. His department resented him. Her job threatened to push her out. And they were doing this because it was right, because someone had to. But right didn't make it easier. The next Monday morning, Jada went back to school. Third period lunch. She sat with her usual friends. Then Tyler Morrison walked by. His father was a police officer who worked with Brooks. "My dad says your mom is a liar," Tyler announced loud enough for 3 tables to hear. "She got Officer Brooks fired because she doesn't like cops." Jada's face went red. She didn't respond. She didn't know how. Tyler continued. "My dad says your whole family hates the police, even your dad. He's a traitor." Jada's teacher intervened and sent Tyler to the principal, but the damage was done. Jada came home quiet and withdrawn, unwilling to talk about her day. That evening, she asked Renee a question that cut deeper than any spray paint. "Mommy, do you hate the police?" Renee's throat tightened. "No, baby. I love your father. I respect people who protect us. Then why did you get Officer Brooks in trouble?" "He did something wrong. He was mean to me for no reason. That's different from hating all police." Jada was 9, too young to process institutional racism, too young to understand the difference between criticizing actions and condemning people. She just knew her world felt dangerous now. "I wish you didn't say anything," Jada whispered. "Then everything would be normal." Renee went to her bedroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the bed, and cried. Not quiet tears, but full sobs that left her empty. She had brought this into their home. She could have stayed silent. She could have driven away from that gas station and absorbed the humiliation like the 11 women before her. She could have protected her daughter from nightmares and schoolyard cruelty. Her phone rang. It was her mother. "Baby, I saw the news. Maybe you should let this go. These people have power. They can make your life difficult." "They already are, Mama." "Then why keep fighting?" Renee didn't have a good answer, just a memory of her father, 10 years gone now, teaching her at age 12. When someone's wrong, you speak up, even if your voice shakes, even if you're scared, because silence is consent. She was scared now, voice shaking, but she heard her father's words. The next Tuesday afternoon, Renee sat in her parked car outside Jada's school, crying again, alone, the lowest she had been since this started. Her phone buzzed. An email from Marisa Williams, then another from LaToya Johnson, then Kendra Anderson, then 17 more women she had never met, sharing stories, offering support, saying the same thing. "Thank you for not staying quiet." Renee read every email, wiped her face, and took a breath. Byron texted, "You okay?" She replied, "No, but I'm not giving up." The next Wednesday night, Renee wrote an email to Nicole Harper at the Richmond Times. Subject: I want to tell my story. She hit send before she could change her mind. By the following Thursday, the tide began to turn. The Richmond Times published Renee's interview, front page above the fold. I was stopped for driving while black. What happened next changed everything. The article was long and detailed, Renee's words unfiltered. She talked about Jada's nightmares, about the spray paint, about her supervisor suggesting she'd disappear, but mostly she talked about the 11 women who came before her. This isn't about my husband's job. This isn't a personal vendetta. This is about a pattern. 11 complaints filed. 11 times the system said insufficient evidence. I'm complaint number 12. The only difference? Someone with power was watching. That's not justice. That's luck. Within 48 hours, 23 women contacted the newspaper. Same officer, similar stories, same outcome. Dismissed, ignored, forgotten. Marissa Williams, 42, high school English teacher, stopped earlier. Daughter 16 at the time. Brooks searched their car for 30 minutes, found nothing. Her daughter missed a college interview. Marissa filed a complaint and got a letter 3 months later, insufficient evidence to support allegations. LaToya Johnson, 38, dental hygienist, stopped earlier. Brooks called a K-9 unit, claimed he smelled marijuana. The dog alerted on nothing. She sat on the curb for 45 minutes while Brooks went through her trunk. She missed her son's birthday dinner, filed a complaint. Officer followed proper procedure. Kendra Anderson, 29, graduate student pursuing a PhD in molecular biology, stopped earlier. Stone sober. Brooks made her recite the alphabet backwards, walk a straight line, touch her nose with her eyes closed, then let her go. No ticket, no apology, no explanation. She didn't file a complaint. She thought it wouldn't matter. She was right. Until now. The following Friday afternoon, Tanya Wilson created a Change.org petition. Fire Officer Brooks. Reform stop protocols. Create independent oversight. She shared it on the Riverside Park Soccer Parents Facebook group. It spread through other groups and networks. By Sunday night, it had 3,200 signatures. Local, national, international. The next Monday, Bethel AM Church on Broad Street hosted a community meeting. 150 people showed up, standing room only, news cameras in the back. Renee spoke first. Calm, factual, the same quiet power she had shown at the gas station. I'm not special. I'm lucky. Lucky that my husband had power when I needed it. But justice shouldn't require luck. It shouldn't require knowing the right person. It should be automatic for everyone. 17 women stood up and shared stories publicly for the first time. Not just about Brooks, but about other officers, about stops that felt wrong, about searches that violated rights, about humiliation in front of children. The media coverage shifted completely. This wasn't a chief's wife controversy anymore. This was systemic, documented, undeniable. Amanda Ellis, the lawyer parent from the BP parking lot, stood. I'm offering pro bono legal representation for civil rights claims. Anyone who wants to file suit, I'll help coordinate. Derek Thompson, Devin's father, announced he was organizing a second meeting in a bigger venue. We're done being quiet. Councilmember Lisa Taylor attended, sat in the back, and took notes. The next Tuesday morning, she filed a motion. The city council would hold a public hearing on police accountability, open testimony, followed by a vote on Officer Brooks's employment and departmental policy reforms. The motion passed 7-2. The system was being forced to look. 4 days before the hearing, Detective Lena Wright received an email. Sender: Officer Kyle Bennett. Subject: You need to see this. 1 attachment: PDF, 3 pages. Wright opened it, read the first line. Her coffee went cold in her hand. She forwarded it to Byron immediately and called him 30 seconds later. Chief, we need to meet now. Not at the station. They met at a diner on the edge of town. empty except for 2 truckers and a waitress who didn't care who they were. Wright slid her laptop across the table. Bennett sent this an hour ago. He's been carrying it for 14 months. Said he couldn't sleep anymore. Byron read the internal memo from Captain Victor Lang, district supervisor at the time, now the union president, now the man defending Brooks on television. To Brooks and others. Subject: Q2 performance metrics. Gentlemen, our tow contracts are underperforming. Metro Towing needs 45 vehicles per month to justify their city contract. Current numbers are at 28. We need to improve. Focus enforcement on Midlothian Corridor, South Side, and East End neighborhoods. High vehicle value, low legal pushback from residents. Remember, odor of marijuana remains sufficient probable cause under state law. Use your judgment. Quota expectations. Minimum 6 stops per week. Minimum 2 tows per month. Failure to meet benchmarks will be reflected in performance reviews. Byron read it twice, then looked at Wright. This isn't a rogue officer. This is institutional design. It gets worse, Wright said. She opened another file. We did forensic extraction on Brooks's phone. Text messages. He kept everything. She scrolled to one. Brooks to Officer Kyle Martinez. Lang wants 12 stops this week. Midlothian is easy pickings. Soccer moms don't lawyer up. Another from Brooks to an unknown number. She complained. Don't worry. Union will handle it. Date matched one of the 11 complaints. Another from Brooks to Martinez. New chief is a problem. Asking too many questions. Lang says keep our heads down. Another. Racist language. Explicit. Not graphic enough to quote directly, but clear bias. Undeniable. Wright closed the laptop. City Controller Angela Davis finished the financial audit yesterday. Metro Towing paid $680,000 to the city over 3 years. Contract revenue. Brooks received $52,000 from Craig Thompson. 3 other officers got a combined $87,000. And Lang, he's clean. His brother owns the storage lot Metro Towing uses. Guess how much rent? $120,000 over 3 years, paid by Metro Towing. The chain was complete. Lang created the pressure. Officers made the stops. The tow company got the vehicles. Money flowed back through family connections. Everyone profited, except the women who got stopped for no reason. Byron sat back. We're not firing one cop. We're dismantling a conspiracy. RICO is possible, Wright said. Federal civil rights violations are certain. I already contacted the FBI. By noon, the Washington Post had the story. Virginia Police Department accused of quota-based towing scheme targeting minority neighborhoods. By 3 p.m., the ACLU issued a statement on systemic civil rights violations. By 5 p.m., the Department of Justice announced a preliminary inquiry. By 7 p.m., Captain Victor Lang resigned as union president and issued a statement through his attorney. Administrative oversight. No criminal intent. Cooperating with the investigation. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just lawyer speak and retreat. Brooks's attorney called Wright that night. My client wishes to discuss cooperation in exchange for reduced charges. Translation. Brooks would testify against Lang to save himself. The hearing was 4 days away. The evidence was overwhelming. The system couldn't ignore this anymore. 23 women, 3,000 signatures, 1 leaked memo. Justice doesn't always come fast, but sometimes it comes completely. The day of the hearing, 7 p.m., Richmond City Hall. Council chambers packed, 53 people, 6 cameras. All 9 council members present. Council member Lisa Taylor gavelled to order. We're here to address allegations against Officer Randall Brooks and vote on departmental reforms. Chief Caldwell. Byron stood, uniform pressed, voice clinical. He was the chief tonight. not the husband. On the day of the incident, Officer Brooks conducted a stop without reasonable suspicion. He demanded a search without probable cause. He used physical contact without justification. He called backup under false pretenses. All documented on body cam, civilian recordings, and my witness testimony. He paused. This is not isolated. This is a 6-year pattern. Detective Wright projected the data. The audience heard her describe it. 11 complaints, 63 stops, 89% Black or Latina women, 52,000 in kickbacks. And this memo established quotas targeting specific neighborhoods. She read it aloud, every word. The chamber went silent. Ms. Renee Caldwell wishes to testify, Taylor announced. Renee approached, hand steady, voice calm. I'm an accountant. I work with data. The data says I was stopped for my skin color, but data doesn't show my daughter crying. Data doesn't measure her nightmares. She looked at each council member. 11 women before me complained. The system said, not our problem. I'm number 12. The difference? My husband has power. That's not justice. That's luck. Her voice hardened. Fire Brooks if you want, but if you don't change the system that protected him, I'll be back in 2 years with 23 other women. Applause. Taylor gavelled. Marissa Williams, next. I teach respect for authority. How? When authority didn't respect me. Latoya Johnson. I missed my son's birthday for a quota. Kendra Anderson, master's degree, asked to recite the alphabet backwards. Stone sober. Brooks's attorney read his statement. Brooks was absent. Officer Brooks regrets any perception of impropriety. He served 15 years. He requests the council consider his full record. Taylor interrupted. His record includes 11 complaints, 52,000 in kickbacks, and texts calling minority women easy pickings. What should we consider? No response. Councilmember Miller tried. We can't destroy a career over one incident. 11 incidents, 63 stops, 23 victims, Taylor corrected. When does pattern become policy? Miller went quiet. Taylor called the votes. Terminate Officer Brooks's employment. 7 ayes. Miller and 1 other dissented. Suspend officers. Martinez, Foster, Williams. Pending federal investigation. 9 ayes. Unanimous. Policy reforms. Mandatory body cams. Quota prohibition. Civilian Review Board. 8 ayes. Miller voted no. The gavel fell. Officer Randall Brooks, your employment is terminated effective immediately. This council adopts Ordinance 2024-118. Renee's face showed no triumph, just exhaustion and relief. Outside, she shared hugs with Marissa, then Latoya, Kendra, and 15 others. No celebration, just acknowledgement. They had won. But it shouldn't have taken a police chief in the back seat for the system to listen. Several months later, same BP gas station, same pump. Renee filled her tank. Jada sat in the passenger seat now, 10 years old, growing up faster than Renee wanted. A patrol car pulled into the lot. Different officers, young, professional. He waved. Afternoon, ma'am. Kept driving. Jada watched him go. Mommy, was that okay? Yeah, baby. That was just a police officer doing his job. Silence, then. Is it safe now? Renee paused. She could lie and make it simple. But Jada deserved truth. It's safer. We made it safer. But we have to keep watching. The outcomes were mixed. Brooks fired. Criminal charges pending. Plea deal negotiations dragged on. Captain Lang under FBI investigation. Resigned. Pension at risk. 3 officers suspended. 2 resigned. 1 fighting termination. Metro Towing lost its city contract. Craig Thompson facing civil suits from 23 women. But the real change was Ordinance 118. Body cams were mandatory. Footage public within 72 hours. Quotas banned. Civilian Review Board established with subpoena power. Annual bias training required. Not perfect, but better. Renee finished pumping and got back in. Jada asked another question. Did it help? What you did? Renee thought about the women who thanked her, about mothers who could drive without fear, about the officers who now knew someone was watching. Yeah, it helped. She thought it was just another Saturday. She was wrong. But because she refused to stay silent, the next Saturday might actually be just another Saturday for everyone. If this story meant something to you, share it. Not for clicks, because patterns only change when people refuse to look away. Your voice matters. Your refusal to accept injustice matters. The gas station is still there. The police still patrol. But now so do the cameras and the people behind them.